Howdy, welcome to BanjoVinClark.com. I am Banjo Vin, your host here on the website to teach you how to play banjo guitar. This week is Mandolin week, and it's actually the third week in a 3-instrument series learning how to play solos for Battle Hymn of the Republic. We started on banjo, then we went to guitar, now it's mandolin, and what we've done on each one of those instruments is learn 2 solos. The first being more of a basic melody solo, and learning how to beef that up. And then we'll use that as a foundation to jump into more of an advanced solo and figure out some of these cross-picking moves and using these chromatic connecting licks. It's a lot of fun. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to my website, BanjoVinClark.com. You can join as a Gold Pick member, have access to hundreds of lessons just like this one. This is about a 25-minute video lesson. Then I have the tabs for the 2 solos exactly as I played it. And then I have 3 different speeds of jamtrack MP3s that you can jam along with and get this one under your belt. Let's jump right into this first solo. Let's learn a couple mandolin solos to Battle Hymn of the Republic. We're going to do these in the key of C. The first solo is going to be more of a basic straight ahead melody. We'll take some opportunities to beef it up a little bit, use some harmony licks, use some unison tricks to bolster that basic melody, which you can then take those tricks to any basic melody you have and just help beef it up a little bit. Then we'll use that as a foundation to go into more of an advanced solo where we'll do some actual cross picking and import some licks into the mandolin that are normally played on other instruments, which is a lot of fun to do. Let's go ahead and throw up this first line of tab there for the basic melody. You'll notice a couple things. We have our pick stroke arrows beneath each one of the notes. Very straight ahead for this song. Downstrokes happen on downbeats. Upstrokes happen on upbeats. So we're going to have this alternating picking as we go through the beats. And then we'll have our lyrics there beneath the notes to kind of help you keep up with where you are. Now, one last thing before we dive into this. This melody is typically sung or played with a syncopated feel, with a swing feel. It sounds like this. We're going to straighten it out. We're going to make all those notes equal, give it more of a march feel, which I think sounds really cool with this song, especially because you're not used to hearing it like that. Now we'll come in on the 3rd beat of that first pickup measure. Mine eyes have seen the glory. So the main thing that I'm going to do right off the bat to help beef up this basic melody is throw in 8th notes here and there. Because if we were to play the straight melody, it'd sound like this. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. So what I'm going to do is take almost every other melody note and make it an 8th note. Down, up. So instead of just a bunch of quarter notes, mine eyes have seen the glory. We're going to do this. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the... Okay? And that's one thing that you can always do with basic melodies is play those melody notes. Just turn what may be a longer note into some 8th notes whenever you want to. And you don't want to make those too monotonous. You wouldn't want to go... So we just pick which ones, and you can do whichever ones you like. Sometimes I do them on the 1st and 3rd beats, sometimes I do them on the 2nd, 4th, but I switch them up so that we don't get too monotonous there. Now whenever we get to measure 4, I'm going to use another little trick that we'll see in this basic melody, and that's taking advantage of the notes that fall on open strings. So when we get up to coming of the Lord, we're getting up to this E note, and so I'm going to play that open E note, but I'm also going to slide into the E note on the A string, so from 5th to 7th fret, and I'm going to play both of those at the same time, and I'm just going to hold it there. Now I will come back down because we're going to need that 2nd fret down here in measure 5, so it will look like this. Okay. So already what we've done is just taken some of the basic melody notes, turn them into 8th notes when they would typically be quarters, and then use that open string to slide up into it. I'll play this first line for you and we'll do it much slower together later on. Measure 6, we're going to do the exact same thing. The melody is trampling out right there on the A string, so I'm going to slide into it. And again, we're just adding some 8th notes here and there. So all that's pretty straightforward. As we get into measure 10, we're going to introduce another element, and that's grabbing some harmony notes. So the melody is going to be here on this 5th fret, that G note, but I know that I'm playing over a C chord. Okay? So I'm going to grab another one of the notes in a C chord, It's going to happen to be the C note here, and play along with my melody note here. I'm going to loosen my pick grip a little bit so I can get both of those notes as I go down and up. Here we're going to do the same type of thing in measures 12 and 13. We're going to slide up into the melody note, but then the melody note's going to come back down to here and then to here. But I'm going to keep this E note ringing with them. We're going to be playing an E note together because of the chords that we're over. It's just going to act as a harmony note. So measure 12 is an E major chord, so obviously that E note would work well with it. And then 13 we go to an A minor, and the E note is in the A minor chord. So that sounds like this. I'll play this line for you. As far as your fret hand fingering, you can do whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to slide it with my ring finger there, and then either come back down with my ring for that 5th fret, or do it with my 3rd or middle finger and then come down. Now we're going to wrap up the verse in measure 14. And so we have a half note there for truth. Truth is. So I'm going to fill in those other beats. And one way I'm going to do that is just jump down and grab the D note, which is an octave beneath the melody note. And then we're going to do a couple of little just melodic licks here that are within the C major scale to wrap up the verse. Now as we look at the chorus, this gets to be a lot of fun.